mean, it's a concept of displaying information, but if you don't have the information, it doesn't really help.
Right, okay. All right, so this is an image that Andy has developed. This is Andy. And let's see. So, Andy, tell me, if you don't mind telling me again, what your vision is for this infographic that you've drawn.
So what I'm interested in doing is creating a page that has 2 clickable or selectable entries by the visitor, the user having a team 1 and a team 2, any 2 that, whatever, a drop-down menu 2 that would be selectable. What I would be supplying to this is the coordinates or the values of several data points associated with team 1 and with team 2. Okay. Using a range of possible metrics, this just being one example of it. So these numbers would be accumulated week by week. So each week I would be creating a 2-dimensional matrix of numbers. One with one associated, one column or one axis being the team, the other being whatever these metrics are that I'm calculating. So the numbers will be growing, these data points would be growing by week. Also, I would supply a mean value from all those data points, and then something that I were to call a trend value of those data points. At that point, now there needs to be a calculation done, something that you might call a delta mean, or whatever the difference is between mean and team 1 and team 2. It could be a small number, it could be a big number. Same thing with this trend value.
Okay.
Then dipping back into historical data, which would be from about, say, 750 or so data points. Whatever that mean difference is would correspond to, again, a value here of a mean, a certain delta mean value. I would be interested then in presenting some width here, some band that surrounds that value, somehow presenting the data points that would be occurring within that band.
Okay.
That may be a graphical representation, it may just be some simple statistics. From a complexity point of view, this would be dealing with 3 years of past information.
Okay.
Technically, these should be added to every week of the new season. There would be the possibility of adding to it, but I wouldn't even actually see that as being a scope here. I think these would just be static from past games and not updated every week.
Okay.
And then really beyond that, it would be doing something, you know, there would be data points with other teams, and you know, there's a couple of really it's the metric would be reproduced several more times, either for the team, the offense, or the defense. Maybe something that was clickable, maybe not, and then perhaps doing it 4 or 5 other times with, again, just a different metric, but again, all information, all data points that would be submitted, I guess, or somehow accepted, produced by me and accepted into the website structure every week at, you know, noon on Tuesday or something like that.
Right.
So it would be updated sort of real time.
So we would have an infographic, like kind of like what you're seeing here, and that would be altered based on what team the individual selected, this team versus that team.
And then also where in the season we are. These will continue to grow. Okay. Each week. Those lines would keep getting longer as the season progresses.
Okay. And then the variables that we would be working with, just as a baseline, would be, you know, just starting with the number of team. What you said, 30 teams?
32.
32 teams. And so we would have a drop down, and they would select the teams. team 1 and team 2. And then the data, if we're working with numbers that make these points change, we would say we'd probably be working with how many different variable numbers that you would go in and change. How would you say, in for each team, would you say?
Or it would be, I mean, it could be as many as, it could be as small as, here it would be, I guess it would be, in terms of changing, I guess actually I'm not really sure. Actually, ask that question again. Actually,
so if we're looking at, if we're dealing with the spreadsheet, if you will, because there's still going to be some kind of a spreadsheet that's going to input here, and we're going to say, okay, these numbers make this variable change. We're probably going to be like, how many numbers do you see us like on a dashboard? Let's say we had a dashboard and you had to go in and change these numbers. How many different numbers do you think would be involved, or cells, if you will, would be involved in
all this? I would say, so for the 32 teams, I could see something as small as 12 columns of data.
Okay.
Or then it would just become really something that was then multiplied depending on how many additional metrics were going to be used, or I guess how many additional situations were going to be analyzed.
I see.
So it would be, again, it could be anywhere from 12, 24, 30. It would be something, that's the way that it would be basically set up. Mm-hmm. For every new situation, I guess you'd say, there would be a doubling of the size of, or not a doubling, it would be a order of a multiplication of whatever the initial number of columns was, would now be the resulting number of columns.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else before I shut this off?
No, I think that's my